A Montana cowboy inherits a barren patch of prairie.
This place isn't big enough to starve to death on.
But beneath the parched soil, he finds prehistoric treasure.
This is one of the most important discoveries in this century.
I've got a year to try to see if I can survive with our ranch and selling dinosaur fossils. This is a job owed to a Tyrannosaurus Rex that I found.
Will this cowpoke's strange inheritance lead him to boom? Woo! Or bust?
Lightning doesn't strike in the same place very often. Maybe never.
I'm Jamie Colby, and today I'm driving in the Badlands of eastern Montana. It's rugged, big sky, cattle ranching country. I'm on my way to meet a lifelong resident whose father left him a chunk of this land.
Nice to have you here.
Pleasure. Thanks for having us.
Yeah. My name's Clayton Phipps, and in 1997, my father passed away, and I inherited from him a small portion of the family ranch. And along with that came a few pretty exciting surprises.
41-year-old Clayton Phipps is like a character out of Red River or Lonesome Dove.
Most of the time, I'm on my own. I'm happy that way. This ranch had been in our family since my great-grandfather homesteaded here. And it's a part of me that I just didn't feel like I wanted to ever part with.
Clayton grew up and learned to cowboy here on the ranch his father shared with 3 brothers. He describes the operation as cash poor, but reasonably successful.
My dad worked us hard, but that was a good thing, too.
After Clayton's father dies in 1997, the ranch is split up. At age 24, Clayton inherits 1,100 acres and 30 cows. That may sound like a lot, but to make a decent living these days, Clayton would need 10 times that much land and about 500 head of cattle, at least 40 acres for each cow.
I always tell people this place isn't big enough to starve to death on. But it's every cowboy's dream to have their own place.
Okay, we're saddling up.
Just step on my knee with your right leg.
Okay.
There you go.
Clayton insists I wear a helmet.
Yeah, that was pretty smooth.
Good girl. Somebody must have told him I'm a lawyer. I can see why Clayton loves being out here. I also learned why he calls ranching a big gamble.
There's a big gamble in ranching, and wintertime can be hard. You can have some big storms. There can be death loss. You can buy a bull for $10,000, and he can go wreck himself or break his leg or something, and you may not get any return out of him.
For years, Clayton works a second job, hoping to make enough money to build up his own herd. Getting the ranch to pay off becomes more urgent when he falls in love with Lisa Landwehr, who teaches at the local one-room schoolhouse.
Love at first sight. My mom said she could see why I fell for him. My dad said, "Are you sure you shouldn't wait?" He's always been very good to me. We had a lot of fun together.
My wife's from Minnesota. The whole thing's been a culture shock for her. You know, it's 120 miles to the nearest movie theater. The old-timers would say, you know, this country's hard on horses and women.
In 1998, the couple's first child, Julie, is born. She'll grow up to be a cowgirl through and through.
Julie came along, and yeah, there's another mouth to feed and a little more responsibility. And you have to start, you know, what am I going to do?
It all ratchets up the pressure on Clayton to make the ranch financially viable now.
Got to figure out a way to try to buy more land, enough land to raise enough cows to provide a living.
Then one day, Clayton runs into a stranger who'd been prospecting in the Badlands near Clayton's ranch.
He started pulling these things out of his car, and he started saying, you know, this piece here might sell for $500. You know, and it was a fragment of bone. And I'm like, what?
They were fossils, remnants of giant beasts who lived here eons ago. Clayton figures if there are that many valuable fossils on the neighbor's land, there must be as many on his. Could they help him keep his home on the range?
As I was out fixing fence or riding or gathering cattle, I started watching and, you know, started picking up fragments here and there and then trying to learn more about it. It got me excited that, this stuff's everywhere.
It's everywhere because Phipps Ranch sits right on one of the most important scientific areas on Earth, the Hell Creek Formation. 65 million years ago, this was a warm, palm-studded forest. Giants ruled the Earth. Peter Larson runs the Black Hills Institute, which prepares fossils for museums and collectors.
The Hell Creek Formation shows us the very end of the age of dinosaurs, going up to the time that this giant asteroid, 6 miles across, that crashed into the Earth and actually caused the extinction of about 70% of life forms here on this planet.
Between chores, Clayton scours the gulches and ridges on his land, searching for fossils. He finds plenty of fragments, buckets full of them in fact, but nothing he could sell. These bones would not put meat on the table. Then one day, something in the rocky soil catches Clayton's eye.
And I looked, and there was a T-Rex Premax tooth laying there in almost perfect museum quality condition.
So this tooth, for example, is a result of your inheritance?
It is.
Clayton shows me a casting of the tooth, his first real find, in the back room where he prepares specimens for sale. It's a combination man cave, research library, and trophy room.
And I went home and sold that tooth that night to a collector for $2,500, and I was back in business.
Back in the ranching business, that is.
I used that money to buy my first cattle to help supplement my other disease, ranching and cowboying.
Well, that's what kind of actually was exciting about it. We were pretty proud of being able to start our herd with something that he found, That was pretty cool.
Pretty cool, sure. But could such prehistoric artifacts be the cash crop they need to help them build up their herd and make the ranch a success? It's another gamble. Clayton's all in. Lisa, not so much.
Paychecks kind of need to be steady when you're raising a family, and it was a gamble, My wife was really skeptical.
You ever sit there and dream of another life? He's not listening right now.
I have to confess, yeah, it's crossed my mind. I wouldn't give him up for anything, but, I was nervous.
As months go by with no significant finds, even Clayton begins to have doubts.
I got to one of my sites. My tractor tire was flat, and that was going to be a $500-600 bill. I was thinking, I don't even know if this is what God wants me to do. I was broke.
And then, as if by divine intervention, his luck changes.
It was just the coolest little skull ever.
That's next.
But first, our strange inheritance quiz question. Which is not a real dinosaur? Saltosaurus, Bambiraptor, or Tigeraptor? The answer when we return.